Welcome to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Hex.
I'm Bajo.
And I am D.A.R.R.E.N.
Today on the show we have two beautiful games to review, starting with Geometry Wars 3: Dimensions Evolved.
And the geometric beauty of the Adventures of Poco Eco Lost Sounds. Now, Darren, remember what we talked about before the show. This is a music rhythm game, so no singing and no dubstep until we get to the review.
Oh, not just one little wob.
No wobs, Darren. Stop the wobs. Stop wobbing.
Yeah, all right, just give us your challenge, Darren.
All right. Sync up those synapses, Spawnlings. It's time for D.A.R.R.E.N's challenge. Today, I'm asking you this. In Minecraft, what is the collective noun for a group of Endermen? Answer at the end of the show.
All right, well, now it's time for Goose with the news. How's it going, Goose?
Goose here with all the gaming news from around the gaming world. The head of Microsoft's Xbox division, Phil Spencer, has recently tweeted that he thinks it would be cool for Nintendo to include Banjo the Honey Bear in the next batch of DLC for Super Smash Bros. Banjo, who originally shot to fame with his backpacked buddy Kazooie on the Nintendo 64, has been absent from the Nintendo roster since its developer Rare was purchased by Microsoft. Spencer points out that they have worked with Nintendo on Rare IP before, so anything's possible. While April Fool's is well and truly over, it seems that one joke in particular may not have been entirely made up. Accessory developer Hyperkin, who released early concept pictures of a Game Boy add-on for smartphones called the Smart Boy, has announced that due to overwhelming positive response, it's now seriously considering going ahead with development. The add-on would allow users to play Game Boy Color cartridges on their mobile device using classic Game Boy controls. Video games on your phone? What'll they think of next? And finally, have you ever wondered what Mario might look like if he was made out of toothpicks? You haven't? Well, wonder no more and marvel at this. Mario superfan BB Corey spent 5 days painstakingly recreating the classic startup screen from the original Super Mario Bros. Entirely out of painted toothpicks. The piece took a total of 14,000 toothpicks to create, each laid down a single layer at a time until the iconic screen was completed. Impressive use of dental hygiene products, BB. Well, that's all the news for this week. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Goose. All right, guys, it's time for lasers, and I mean a lot of lasers.
Lasers! Lasers!
Darren likes lasers.
Oh, they're great. What chaos! Marvelous!
Geometry Wars 3: Dimensions Evolved is the latest in this long-running series of arcade shooters. Evolved being the free update that expands on the original Dimensions game with new content. It's fast, frantic, fun, and certain to push your gaming skills to the limit.
History alert! History alert!
Oh, Darren, how many types of alarms do you have?
It hurts my eyes.
Turn it off, please. Thank you. If I didn't have these alarms, how would you know how important the info was? Did you know the first Geometry Wars was a mini-game that could be found in Project Gotham Racing 2 on the Xbox way back in 2003? It was such a popular Easter egg that the developers, Bizarre Creations, made it a standalone game for the Xbox 360.
Nice bit of history, Darren. Well, now we have this sequel with its classic twin-stick gameplay. You move your ship with one stick and fire your weapons in any direction using the other stick, making it super easy to glide across the screen and wipe out waves of enemy craft as they spawn in.
You can quickly become overwhelmed though, and as the action ramps up, you'll be dodging and shooting in a hectic display of explosions in a desperate bid to stay alive.
The game's adventure mode mixes up the rules level to level to keep you on your toes. You may have a time limit to get the very best score that you can, or only one life. The level design is also extremely varied, with a wide variety of 3D shapes from spheroids and cubes to cylinders.
I'm not sure I enjoyed playing those levels that had multiple surfaces, because it's so easy to accidentally go zooming into a stack of enemies on the other side. I mean, I definitely prefer playing on all of those classic flat 2D levels, where you can see all the enemies as they appear.
The rotating 3D maps are very hard, especially if there are barricades to dodge around too, but I like the variety in designs. And it takes the difficulty of the game up for those who've become Geometry Wars masters.
As you blast away at the enemies, they leave behind small green geoms. Absorb these into your ship and you increase your multiplier, which makes bigger scores possible. Surviving a level while at the same time trying to finish with the most points possible becomes a delicate balance of neon death.
Yes, I was very happy to unlock those helper drones. For instance, there's one that automatically grabs the geoms for you so you can concentrate on the shooting.
Plus, you can use secondary weapons like mines or homing missiles to help stay in control of a level. These can all be upgraded too, which makes going back to the earlier levels to improve your high score much easier as your ship becomes more effective.
Occasionally, you get the opportunity to activate a super state, which is a temporary boost to your weapon for maximum damage. Pew 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 pew! Ha ha!
Oh, so much destruction!
You really need it too when you're up against those fast-moving packs that are just homing in on you. And if you really think you're about to become toast, you have a handy smart bomb that'll totally wipe the screen clear. Phew!
Adventure mode also includes boss levels, which you must beat to progress. And these can be very tough encounters, dodging the waves of enemies until the boss drops its red shield so you can get some shots in.
Oh, I had such a tough time with the Emerald boss. Oh, so hard. But as hard as this game can get, I find that it really gets me into the zone. I call it the Bajo zone. It's kind of like when you've got the Force and you're using the Force. You just focus in on what's happening and you suddenly become one with what's moving on screen. And I don't even know how I do it, how I beat everything, but somehow it all just works like science in my face. I am one with the machine.
If it does all get a bit too challenging, you can also dive into some classic versions of Geometry Wars for a simpler score chase. Or try out some of the new bonus levels. The game has tons of options.
Oh, Hex, I find this game so compelling. I just keep wanting going back to it again and again to beat my friends' scores. What are you going to give it?
Well, this is definitely one of the best arcade shooters you can get, although sometimes I found the difficulty a little bit more frustrating than fun. I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars.
I'm giving it 4 stars.
Now it's time for the most important part of the show, the D.A.R.R.E.N report. Off I go!
Bye, Darren. Have a good time.
Bye.
And welcome to the D.A.R.R.E.N report. Today we will be looking at FMV. FMV is short for full motion video and refers to the filmed or animated footage often used to enhance the appearance of video games. The technology was first used in 1983 in Dragon's Lair. Played on custom Laserdisc hardware, this arcade game was nothing more than a cartoon where you could occasionally make choices. It was barely a game at all, yet it was a high-tech marvel in its day and raked in hundreds of millions of dollars. FMV didn't arrive in force on home gaming systems until the early 1990s, when CD-ROM technology became affordable. The game makers found ingenious ways to work pre-rendered footage into interactive software. Myst dazzled gamers both with its baffling puzzles and its glorious scene transitions. As more and more famous actors began appearing in games, it seemed like FMV would define the future of interactive entertainment. But as the actual computer graphics of games got better and better, FMV looked less and less appealing in comparison. By the turn of the century, FMV was even considered a little daggy.
2, 1, mark.
Today, FMV is still around, but it's usually the last thing one considers before buying a game. And that's a wrap for the D.A.R.R.E.N report. Back to you, Bajo and Hex.
Thank you.
Okay, time for some questions. And first up, we have this one from Fuzzy Swimmer, the King of Gaming, who is in Bajo's computer, New South Wales.
The King of Gaming is in my computer?
Where else would the King of Gaming be?
It's an honor. It's an honor, Your Highness. Your Highness.
Hi guys, I have a few questions for you about the Wii. 1, have they stopped making the Wii? I've been seeing them disappearing from shops and even the game stores. Is this true? 2, what is the classic Wii Controller Pro? I've seen it on some Wii games. 3, are they still making games for the Wii? 4, will they make a new version of the Wii in the future? P.S. Bajo, do these. Hex, do these. P.P.S. Darren is a noob. Can you show us some of his noob moments?
Sorry to say, Your Fuzzy Highness, Nintendo has stopped production of the original Wii. They actually made the announcement that they were stopping production a few years back in 2013.
But of course, the Wii U is fully backwards compatible with Wii games, so you can grab one of those and still enjoy the old Wii games.
And this is the Classic Controller Pro. It's basically just a more traditional game controller without any of that motion stuff.
And yes, they are still making Wii games, but not for long. Nintendo has long since moved on to exclusively making Wii U games, but there's still a few titles still due for release in the Wii.
As far as we're aware, the last confirmed game to come out on the Wii will be Rodea the Sky Soldier towards the end of the year. After that, there are no releases that we've heard about.
The last Wii game. It's a bit sad, really. End of an era.
Yeah, I cried a Wii tear, Hex. But you know what? It's just going into retirement.
It's retro.
Yeah, and retro's amazing.
Yeah, retro's really cool.
Yeah, retro means it lives forever.
But as for if they'll make a new version of the Wii, well, I assume you don't just mean a new console like the Wii U and are talking about a more revised Wii console. So, no, I don't think they have any plans to do that.
They did release a Wii Mini a few years back, but it never came out in Australia, and I doubt they're going to make any other versions, especially since you can just play Wii games on a Wii U.
And, of course, we can show some of Darren's noob moments.
Yes, please.
Roll the tape, Gary!
It was barely a game at all, yet it was But as the actual computer graphics of the games, they're thing. Sorry. All right, you two, it's time to head to the R spawn point desk. Leave behind your safety gear.
Okay.
Hold it neatly. Oh dear.
Hello, Bajo speaking.
Stop that. It's too silly. Now get on with answering some proper questions.
All right, well, Darren, while you're here, we've actually got a question that you might be able to answer. It's from the King of Hobbits, who was in French Middle-earth in Tasmania.
Oh, they must mean French Middle Perth. Because that exists.
That's from Lord of the Rings.
There was a French Middle Earth in Lord of the Rings?
I think so.
Really?
So it was in the extended version.
Oh, with the hobbits. Darren, why don't you read this one?
All right. Hi, good game. I have two questions to ask you. One, my friend said that Mojang was creating a Minecraft story mode. Is this true? Two, what is Darren's favourite game? P.S. Darren, do these. Ah! Oh. Now I must go on an adventure with my koala friend who looks like this. Blinky Bill! Bye. Well, that's partly true. There is a Minecraft story mode being made, but it is not being developed by Mojang. Not entirely, at least. The lead developers on the game are Telltale Games, who are responsible for making story-driven adventure games like Wallace and Gromit, Fright of the Bumblebees, or the latest Sam and Max games.
Oh, Mojang is still working with them, though, right? Because Mojang, Minecraft.
Affirmative. But Telltale will be the main developer, while Mojang will be assisting with creating stories for the game and making sure it maintains the correct Minecrafty vibe.
Oh, so it's going to be a bit like the official story of Minecraft?
Negative. None of the stories will apparently be considered as Minecraft lore. They'll just be stories inspired by the community. Who knows, there might be an entire episode dedicated to Herobrine. It will be released one episode at a time, starting at some point this year.
Oh, well, there you go. But now, Darren, what's your favourite game?
It's so hard to choose, Hex. Of course, out of games made by humans, well, I always enjoy a bit of World of Tanks and SingStar. Always I want to be with you. But my absolute favourite game is one I'm making myself, called Noob Blaster 64. It's only an early pre-closed alpha at the moment, though.
Oh, right. Well, that sounds great, Darren. Do you think I could have a go?
Oh, never. It's so good that I'll have to keep it all to myself. If your puny human brain saw even so much as a screenshot, you'd likely be permanently blinded by its greatness. Not to mention, I need all 64 of my cores running at 100% to play it. How many cores do you have, Bajo?
Well, I'm not a computer, Darren, so I don't really... Well, I guess I have one core, which is my brain.
That's right. You're not a computer. Well, I wouldn't lose hope. I will release a mobile version down the track. That might be more your speed.
Yeah, well, we should get back to these questions. Thanks very much for that, Darren.
Thanks,
My
Darren.
pleasure. Goodbye.
This game sounds crazy. Okay, we've got this one from the King of Gamers, spelt with a Z, who's in the ACT.
So many kings.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Yeah, I wonder how many there are. At least 6.
Yeah.
Hi, GGSP. I have some questions for you to answer. 1. When Game 4 comes out, will you review it? As in the Behemoth's Game 4. 2. In Minecraft, what layer can diamond be found? 3. Last but not least, why did you start the show like did come from the top of your head, or was it some sort of inspiration? Bajo, do these. Hex, do these. Thank you.
Well, Your Highness, we will definitely be keeping an eye on Game 4, and if it looks suitable for review, then we will probably review it.
Yes, we can't promise it though because there's no set release date for it yet, so it may not work with our schedule at the time, but we will see what we can do when we can do it.
As for what layer diamond can be found at, well, naturally diamonds spawn at Y layer 16 and below. Y, of course, being the height measurement, so sea level is at about layer 62, clouds at layer 127, and the top of the world at layer 255.
And for reference, the top of the bedrock is Y layer 4. So basically you'll only find them right at the bottom of the world, somewhere between layers 5 and 16.
As for why we started the show.
Good Game, our big show, had been running on ABC2 for a few years, and that was created by the queen of the ABC, Sitski.
Yeah, and then when ABC3 launched, we figured there's so many spawnings out there, you guys deserved a show of your own.
Absolutely, and then Darren turned up, which was quite serendipitous, and the rest is history.
And now we have fun every day.
Every day.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week. If you've got a question you'd like to ask us, then you can go here and send it in.
Shall we go back to the studio, Hex?
Yeah, let's high five.
High five.
Come on, just one quick one. That counts. That totally counts. Awesome.
Okay, guys, it's time for Poco Echo Lost Sounds. Darren, drop that bass.
Finally! Wob, 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 wob.
Off the rails.
Wob, 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 wob,
Okay, Darren. Okay, Darren. Okay, Darren. Okay, Darren.
wob.
Poco Eco, the character, kind of reminds me of you, Darren. I mean, he's very angular and he really loves his music. And it's when he discovers a magic music player that his journey begins. It turns out that he's discovered the lost tape of sounds that can reawaken these ancient spirits.
You're right that Darren does look a bit like Poco Echo, but, you know, he's not quite
Not quite as intelligent as me? Well, I'm not surprised. You know, I don't like to brag, but my upgraded CPU transfers data faster than light.
No, Darren, what I'm trying to say is that he's not quite...
Not as handsome as me? Well, thank you. It's very kind. I was just voted the galaxy's best-looking robot for a 2nd year running. Thank you, thank you. As the new Mr. Galaxy, I will work tirelessly to end all robot wars. Thank you. I will foster an era of robot kindness and understanding. On pain of lasering.
Yeah, that's great, Darren. What I was trying to say was, though, he's not quite as talkative as you. In fact, I don't think he says anything in the whole game. You look fabulous, by the way.
Thanks, thank you, thanks.
He wanders silently through the world, letting the music and the landscape steal the show.
Yeah, the levels are so wonderfully creative, aren't they? From the glassy mountains to giant floating pyramids. There's a very mysterious and alien feel to the world, but it's also a very peaceful one. Because there aren't any enemies, it feels a little bit like a scenic tour with a soundtrack.
Although there aren't enemies, you can't walk too far in the game without encountering one of its puzzles.
Mostly the puzzles involve moving platforms about to build a path for Poco. But the interesting thing is you don't have direct control over him. Instead, you just tap the part of the landscape you want him to walk to. We played this mostly on a smartphone, which I will say is a bit cramped.
Yeah, it took me a little while to get used to the control system, but overall I would say that it's better than like an on-screen D-pad, for example. Especially because these environments are shaped so unconventionally.
Getting back to the puzzles, often the first task is to get an amp and activate it. These amps generate power in each area, allowing you to walk onto buttons that shift platforms and staircases around. Naturally, my CPU was able to solve these puzzles in nanoseconds, but how did you two find them?
I will agree with you, Darren. The puzzles are way too easy. A lot of them could be solved by just walking along and pressing the next red button. And even when there were 2 red buttons to choose from, you still don't need to figure anything out because there's a red spirit that leads you in the right direction. Where is the challenge?
I think you're being a little bit unfair. I mean, I do agree that most of these puzzles are too easy, but I think that's because the game is going for more of a hypnotic, relaxing feel. And then later on in the game, the puzzles do get quite tricky. Like the one in the snow where you need to redirect light through a series of crystals.
Yes, that one was quite tough, but then straight afterwards it went back into simple puzzles, just tapping in the field of drums. Overall, I just want this game to be harder.
Putting the puzzles to the side for a moment, I think it's fair to say the gameplay doesn't change much throughout the 3-hour experience. The same formula of powering up the area and activating the platforms remains the focus. However, I'm glad to say the music keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. The vocals really added an extra layer of emotion to Poco Eco's journey. It may be a brief adventure, but it's an experience I'm glad I got the chance to have. I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars.
There's a lot that I like in this game, but I do think those visuals and that wonderful music maybe came at the cost of good gameplay, so I'm giving it 2.5 out of 5 stars. Well, we're just about out of time for this week, but Darren, I think I figured out your Darren's challenge for this week. A group of Endermen is called a fleet.
Negative.
Gaggle?
Negative.
A flunk?
Negative. Nice try, Bajo, but the answer to my challenge is this. In Minecraft, the collective noun for a group of Endermen is a haunting.
Oh, that was really hard, Darren.
But you learned something, right?
Well, yes.
You're welcome. I'm always here to help.
Right, well, next week on the show, we wheelie it to the finish line with our review of Ride.
Vroom vroom.
It's been ages since we've had a good motorbike game.
Well, let's hope it's really good.
Until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Bajo out.
Darren out.
I like your puns, Darren.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Darren, I can't wait to talk to you about this game.
Oh, good one, Hex.
I look forward to talking about it next week as well.
No, it was a pun, Bajo. T-O-R-Q-U-E. Talk.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the game. It looks quite good.
The talk of an engine.
Yeah.
Bajo, does your brain even get out of first gear?
Darren, my brain doesn't have
Try
gears.
to make a pun.
That's how fast
I think it's stuck in reverse.